So this is pretty cut and dry, folks. It's very intriguing. We're going to find out more and more, but we found out enough to know guilt and to know what should be the process in regards to discipline, at least preliminary discipline. Because basically we've got this radio analyst, former Wake Forest coach and player, who has obtained information, of course. So what happens in television and radio is that the media goes in and talks to the coaches sometime during game week just to gain some insight into the game planning, the structure of the team, the approach, the game plan going into that Saturday's game. But they don't leak the information. It's confidential, but it gives them some ability to better call the game, analyze the game, and then start to talk about that information during the broadcast when it can't help the opponent. But what's happened is we've got a former coach and player who has a chip on his shoulder, who's been snubbed, who is offended, and who is leaking information, as we now know, and most notably to the Louisville Cardinals, who accepted that information. So the offensive coordinator accepts the information from the former assistant coach, who's now the radio analyst, and Louisville, instead of denying that information, instead of doing the right thing and saying, hey, we don't play those games, we're not taking the play calls and the formations from you, they, of course, accepted the information. Also, once caught, instead of saying, hey, we need to clean this mess up, no, the athletic director for Louisville comes out today, and he basically says, you know, we did get some information during a phone call. We didn't use that information, not much, maybe a couple plays in this particular game. Wake Forest, a huge 28 or 35-point underdog, led into the second half, into the fourth quarter, in fact. At one point, 12-0 before Louisville stormed back for the victory and avoided the big upset. And now we find out that Louisville head coach Bobby Petrino, we know that he has a past of misgivings, one at the University of Arkansas, in which he was on a motorcycle with his mistress, who was involved in the volleyball program, and then he tried to cover that up and tried to create a situation in which he was helped along the side of the road by a bystander, but that didn't happen because he was trying to cover up his affair. This is the same Bobby Petrino, while at Auburn, while at Louisville for his first stint, rather, in trying to obtain the Auburn head coaching job, kind of snuck through and trying to backstab Tommy Tuberville, the current Auburn coach at the time. And then when he was with the Atlanta Falcons, a lot of issues involving Bobby Petrino. But as we heard from the Louisville athletic director in giving and announcing Bobby Petrino as the new head coach, he's a changed man. Well, he's not a changed man, and Louisville is running this type of football program. And so expect so much more to come out from this situation than what we've heard. But we have heard enough. We know that the radio guy at Wake Forest offers information to Louisville. Louisville accepts it, and then it tarnishes that football outcome sometime in October. Again, Wake Forest, a huge underdog, leads in the game at halftime 12-0. They lead into the fourth quarter. Louisville storms back to take the win, as we expect, but we now know that they had some information about Wake Forest formations and play calling. Now, ESPN's reporting just in the last couple hours that Virginia Tech also had Wake Forest information obtained from the same radio guy back in 2014. So it may come unraveling from here. The ACC has come out and said that it will investigate the situation, and we shall see where we go from here. But there is definitely a lot more to uncover here. The rabbit hole will continue to spiral down. Believe it.